You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some Brian balls.
What's going on, NASCAR Diecast collectors and Diecast viewers on YouTube? This is Original Big Bri here, and welcome back to another new episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, hosted by me, Ryan LaFleur Jr. As always, guys, I'm bringing you all your bi-weekly NASCAR Diecast news, though, each and every other week until the very end of the 2017 NASCAR Diecast season. And it's good to stay on track, folks, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our last episode, which was a really special episode. And once again, for any of you guys who just started watching that and now starting to watch this, I appreciate your support, and thanks to all the winners from the giveaway. Just want to give you guys a quick shout out for all your support and all the 2,100 subscribers that we had. And yeah, it was just a very successful event, and I'm looking forward to do that again very shortly. But to get back on track, guys, we do got the 179th episode of the NASCAR Diecast News coming with you guys starting right now, and we do got some of your we do got a lot of cool news to talk about, including some of the newest and greatest NASCAR Diecasts that have been released throughout this past 2 weeks, including some of the news diecasts from our good friends at Plan B Cells, K-State Diecast, and Lesher's Diecast. Lots of cool diecasts to be talking about very shortly. After all, this is the NASCAR Diecast News. Gotta love all the diecasts. We do got some cool pre-orders as well. Lots of cool, interesting pre-orders to be talking about. I mean, we got some more race wins and some more Johnson throwbacks. Hell, we even have a Michael McDowell car, but that's all going to be talked about very shortly. Of course, we do got the return to some cancellations. Not as much as last episode or the past few episodes, but still enough for this episode. And finally, the last topic we'll be talking about this video will be on Dale Jr.'s last ride car. I will be giving my review and honest opinions about that car very shortly, and we got all this latest information and more to be talking about, guys. But we're going to be kicking things off with the best selling diecast and least selling diecast from the NASCAR Diecast News 178, and the NASCAR Diecast News starts right now. Alright, everybody, welcome to the NASCAR Diecast News. I'm your host, Brian LaFleur Jr., or Original Big Bri. And we're going to be kicking things off with your newly released diecast from our good friends at Plan B Cells, K-State Diecast, and my personal favorite, my local diecast dealer, which is named Lesher's Diecast. And I do highly encourage you guys to check out your local diecast dealers as well, because it does make a difference. Even though Lino Racing and Plan B Cells do supply us a lot of cool diecasts, it's always good to check out your local diecast dealers. Got to help those small businesses out. But speaking of that, guys, we do got some newly released diecasts, and we're going to be starting things off with the 164s. We got 7 new 164s 164s we're going to be talking about, and I will be going through them in numerical order. So first one up is Elliott Sandler's One Main Financial Chevrolet Camaro for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So this is the second time we got an Elliott Sandler car produced for this year. Of course, it is, you know, the famous One Main Financial car that we all know and love. Of course, it's driving for Junior Motorsports this year, so that's very interesting. And you guys remember the Hunt Brothers car came out on the last episode of NASCAR Diecast News, the live episode. So usually the One Main Financial car usually gets released first, but it is kind of interesting to see how this car was the second Elliott Sandler car to get released. But it is kind of cool because most of the other 164s for Elliott Sandler has been canceled. You know, besides the Hunt Brothers car. But still a really cool car to have regardless, especially if you are an Elliott Sandler fan or a Junior Motorsports fan in general, because he does drive for Junior Motorsports. Next one up is Kevin Harvick's number 4 Busch Light Ford Fusion, and this is a pretty cool looking car. Of course, this car really is kind of reminiscing what Busch Light really is. So it's much more of a, you know, how the Busch car has like a very I wouldn't say a darker blue, but this one has kind of a lighter tone to it, and I think that is really cool. It kind of goes well with how the name is, Busch Light. I think last year's was a little bit better. I'm not really a big fan of this light blue this year, but it is a nice, cool variation. Variation. I can't really talk today, but yeah, regardless, it's still a pretty cool looking car. But it's also on the EL mold as well. If you guys remember the Busch car that was released you know, a couple months ago, it was on the PTC mold. So if you are looking for a Busch car that isn't on the PTC mold, then I would recommend getting this car. Especially if you're a big Kevin Harvick fan, then yeah, it's a total recommend. I mean, I can't second guess you guys on that one. Next one up, we got Trevor Bayne's number 6 Advocare Ford Fusion. So the third Trevor Bayne car finally released, and it's his original sponsor, Advocare. They decided to change up their paint scheme this year, and I have to say it is quite a colorful paint scheme. It's still got that classic white that we all know and love from the Advocare paint scheme. Well, the Advocare car in general, but still a really interesting car. Like I said, I do like the variation of colors that this car represents, and it's cool to see that this car is also on the EL mold as well, unlike the Liberty National car, which was unfortunately the PTC mold. But I would still say the Performance Plus car is still my favorite overall, but this is probably a good second in my opinion, but still would recommend it. And the next one up is a lot of people have been waiting for Toyota Diecast, so let's just say we got our first Toyota car that's finally released, and it is none other than good old Kyle Busch in the number 18 Interstate Batteries car. I had a great feeling that this car was eventually going to be released as the first Toyota car for this year, because we have seen a lot of prototype pictures, and even on the last episode of NASCAR Diecast News, it looks like someone got this car very early before, you know, the actual release came. So wherever you are out there, if you know who you are, you probably know who you are, then you are an awesome person. But yeah, the Kyle Busch Interstate Batteries car, you guys know I'm not a big fan of the paint scheme, but I probably will recommend getting this car because of the newly designed Toyota mold that they have for this year. Of course, it's got the updated spoilers, no Monster Energy logos, however, because it is a 164. The 124s will have it though, so we're just going to wait for the 124s. But right now the 164 is only out yet. And like I said, the 124 is not out yet, so we'll just wait on that very shortly. Still a nice looking car though, but I'm not a big fan of the paint scheme though. Hoping to, if you really want to get a Kyle Busch car, then I would recommend getting this. And you know, since we've waited long enough, I think it might be a good recommendation. But if you're not a big fan of the paint scheme, then I would recommend getting it. And speaking of Busch, guys, we got some more. This is going to be the third Busch thing we're going to be talking about. We talked about the Busch Light car, then Kyle Busch, and now we're going to be talking about the older brother, Kurt Busch, in the number 41 Mobile One Ford Fusion. That's now available at your local diecast dealers. So this car definitely had a lot of interesting, let's just say it had a very interesting release pattern, because this car was originally going to be with a gray paint scheme, where basically where the green was, they were supposed to be gray, but then they actually Lionel told everybody to pull that pre-order, and they redid the pre-ordered list, and now it was green, because this is actually how the car ran at Richmond. So yeah, I mean, during, you know, Richmond, that's usually a green race, so I understand why they decided to do that. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say the green goes well with this, because I don't know, it's kind of random. I mean, when you think about Mobile 1, you're thinking about, you know, like blue and red and white, you know, those classic colors that really go combined. It is an interesting change, but am I a fan of it? Not really, but it's cool that Mobile 1 decided to give this. I just really can't put my finger on it why they decided to go with green. Who knows, for all I know. Maybe I'll have to do more research about Mobile 1. But if you are definitely looking forward for a Kurt Busch Mobile 1 car, because we've never had one forever, then maybe this is a good car to get. If so, and if you're still not encouraged yet, then check out Race Day 2011's diecast review on this car. Maybe it'll encourage you to do it, because he does love the color green after all. Shout out to Race Day 2011. He is an awesome YouTuber and a great friend. Last two are actually going to be some Dale Earnhardt Jr. diecast. That name's going to be pretty popular on this episode. Hell, it's already popular enough. But we got his Exalta Chevrolet, the original Exalta car that he ran at Phoenix, and a couple other races. Man, what can I say about this car? Well, you guys know me. I love bright schemes, and this car, no exception to it. It will be also released in the NASCAR Authentics Wave as well. I think for Wave 6 it's coming out. So, yeah, there's a great opportunity to get this car right now. The Exalta scheme, you know, last year's was really cool. I liked how it represented a familiar scheme that we all knew and love from a couple years ago. But this scheme I really like. I love bright colors cars, and man, this car, no exception to it, looks very nice. I did talk about this car in the 124 scale as well, which was released last episode. This car is also available in the 124 autographed scale as well. So if you guys want an autographed Dale Jr. car, then I would probably recommend picking that up, regardless if you're a 164 collector or a 124 collector. You gotta admit, this Dale Jr. car is really cool. Speaking of more Dale Jr. diecast, if you're really looking for a Dale Jr. diecast that is very important in his career, then this next one I'm about to show you is going to be really cool. But we got Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Exalta Service King, also known as the 600th start car that he drove at Auto Club Speedway, or as I like to call it, Fontana Speedway. But yeah, really cool. Like I said, if you're a big fan of people or drivers in general who've reached great milestones like Dale Earnhardt Jr., 600 starts, that is pretty incredible for someone around his age and someone who has went through a lot. But yeah, 600 starts. I mean, I'm not usually a big fan. I mean, Exalta does this every year. They always release a secondary car, regardless. And usually I would put that car on one of the worst diecasts that we've had for this year. But since this Dale Jr. car and it is going to be a 600 start car, then I probably recommend getting it, because a lot of Junior fans out there will love to have this car. So, might be the first time I do like the secondary Exalted car for once. Then again, the paint scheme is really cool. But that wraps up on the 164 guys, and we're going to be talking about the 124s now. And most of these 124s, I won't be reviewing all of them because they are 11 of them, and we only have limited time to do this episode. So, first one up is Elliott Sadler's Dale's Pale Ale car. This car is only in the 124 scale, however, so that's why I'm already reviewing it, because the 164 version was originally canceled, and it has still been canceled. But the Dale's Pale Ale car, you know, it's been the same paint scheme that we usually know and usually gets canceled. But glad to see that this car made it to the pre-order list and actually got produced. It's also autographed as well, which is really cool. Most of the Junior Motorsports diecasts that we've been getting for this year have been autographed, and I think that's been, you know, very great. I'm glad Lionel is and Junior Motorsports are, you know, taking good responsibility to get those diecasts autographed. So really cool right there. And this car is also on the Gold Series mold as well, so only the hood will open, so that's the only downside, but it is going to be a little cheaper, only 45 bucks. Let's see, another exclusive diecast that we have is Austin Dillon's Ream car. You know, that car, I don't really have to say too much about it, but I believe from what it looks like on the picture, well, yeah, it's also on the 124 Gold Series as well. I thought it was on the original, the original mold, but no, it's not. So I mean, another good reason why people don't like Xfinity diecast. But yeah, this car is only available with the 124 scale. That's unfortunate. It's not autographed. This next one is autographed, actually. The Michael Lynette Pilot Flying J car. This car I'm really looking forward to, even though I'm not really a 124 collector out there. And I'm very disappointed that the 164 scale got canceled for this year. But, you know, if you are a Michael Lynette fan, then that's great that we have this car produced. I'm glad the Lionel Racing and I guess the people really wanted this car produced. Who knows, maybe even Pilot wanted to put some of these cars in our stores, but this car is autographed as well. I will say one thing though, the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Sunny D card, that has been sold out, so you can't get that just yet. We're just waiting for Lionel Racing to ship that card out whenever. And let's see right here what else we got. Oh, we do got some Chase Elliott race win diecast, guys. So we got our first batch of race win diecast finally coming in for 2017, and they're both Chase Elliott cards, guys. We got the Chase Elliott Daytona Can-Am dual #1 race win car. Really interesting right there, but you guys can tell I am a little disappointed in one thing only, and that one thing is not the diecast, but it's the box. You can clearly see that we are no longer getting race winner boxes, which is very unfortunate. A lot of people are wondering, oh, is this a standard release? Nope. Plan B Sales and Lionel Racing have confirmed that these are going to be the boxes for the race win diecast for this year, as far as I know of. So that is very disappointing, especially since you're paying $70 for this, and a lot of people had this car straight on pre-order as soon as you want this. So I am pretty disappointed in Lionel that they are not making. I think they're just getting lazy in general. I don't really know why they decided to not make it a race win box. I mean, it feels like every year Lionel's getting lazier and lazier with the quality, and this is probably a good example of why that's happening. Sorry if I'm disagreeing with that, but that's just my opinion, and I'm not really happy that we got that. Feel sorry for any of you 124 collectors out there. However, though, I would recommend getting this card than the Daytona 500 pole win card because it has a lot more race marks to it. I mean, on the right side of this car, which the picture you can't really see, but if you guys want to look this car up, then go ahead and Google it or look at the Lionel Racing side. I think they gave you guys photos. But on the right side, there are tire marks right above the Mountain Dew logo and also by the exhaust stickers. And it also has a white labeled window tear off as well, so that's a good variation of which car is which, because I know this car and the next car I'm about to show you, the Daytona 500 pole win car, that's also race version as well, are very similar. But if I just told you what those two examples are, then you guys can probably easily tell. But this is a good reason why Lionel needs to put back the race boxes, because we can barely tell which diecast is which now. I don't think that will be a big problem once we get to the diecast with a lot of confetti. But yeah, I mean, if you are a Chase Elliott fan, I would recommend getting probably both these diecasts. I'm not really a big fan of the pole win diecast. I mean, you see my top 10 worst diecast list. Never been a fan of them ever since. I don't see the point of them. I mean, it's just a pole. I mean, what's so interesting about starting first? I don't know why they make a diecast, even for the Indy 500 and Monaco Grand Prix or any big race, the 24 Hours of Daytona. I mean, they don't make pole win diecast, so I find it very redundant. I think it's just a good cash grab for Lionel to just make. So I don't know, but this is something they've been doing for the past couple years now, so I've grown used to it. But still not a big fan of the pole win diecast. But these two Chase Elliott cars, I guess I would still recommend getting them, but I would probably recommend the Can-Am dual win card instead of the pole win card. Alright everybody, now we're going to go into the pre-orders, guys, and we got a lot of cool pre-orders to be talking about, but of course we're going to start things off with your race win pre-orders, and we're going to kick things back to the Eldora race for a second, guys. If you guys remember, Matt Crafton won the Eldora race for this year, and a lot of people were wondering, are we ever going to see any Thor Sport racing cars getting produced? Well, Ben Rhodes, if you guys remember, Lionel Racing did offer Ben Rhodes' number 27 Safe Light car. I believe that, I think, is almost made the MOQ list. I think it actually did, from what I know. I could probably look back at the Lionel Racing forum to double check on that. But I think it did make an MOQ, otherwise it would be on the cancellation list. But yeah, let's just say the Matt Crafton Menards car that he won at Eldora is finally available for pre-order, guys. So any of you guys out there who are really looking forward and are a big fan of Eldora, then I would recommend getting this car. I think it will look very great with the Kyle Larson Eldora win and the Austin Dillon Eldora win as well, because those are the only ones that have been produced. Hopefully this one will be produced, but it's going to be really cool because this will be the second Toyota Tundra diecast that will hopefully be produced, but you got to pre-order them, guys, otherwise it won't get produced. And it's also only available in the 124 scale, because you guys know Lionel Racing can't make 164 molds for the truck series, unfortunately. And the other race we're going to be talking about, guys, is let's just say Kyle Busch, after a year of finally snapping, being winless, he's finally snapped back into victory lane, and he won it at a track that he's not been familiar with. Let's say Kyle Busch got his first win this season, and it's his first career win at Pocono Raceway, and he won in the M&M's Caramel car. So very similar to him winning at the All-Star race, but he finally got a win. So we all knew it was going to happen eventually, because Kyle Busch has finished second many times this year, And man, I would have loved if he's finished second again, but because I do like he's quite the entertainment when it comes to Radioactive when NASCAR does that. And they post on their YouTube. But regardless of that, though, this is gonna be really cool. Plus, this car will be offered in both scales, so I'm a big fan of that. So hopefully, I believe this car will make it the pre-order list. But I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Kyle Busch cars getting canceled, but since this is his first win for this season, besides the All-Star win, then maybe we'll see this car getting produced, but you gotta pre-order them, guys. Plus, like I said, did I mention it's also in both scales, so that's another reason why you gotta pre-order this car, regardless if it's a driver that you hate. We do got two Daunts and Throwbacks cars to be showing you guys quickly, and first one up is going to be Xfinity car, and it's the young rising star of William Byron in the Liberty University car, and he's going to be driving this throwback car in honor to the tribute of Rick Hendrick's son, Ricky Hendrick, in his 2001 car. If you guys are familiar with Ricky Hendrick, like I just said, he is Rick Hendrick's son, and he used to drove, and he unfortunately died in that horrific plane crash that happened in 2004. Very, very big tragic for, the Hendrick family and everybody involved with Hendrick Motorsports. So, and plus, this is a really cool diecast set, especially if you guys who grew up in the early 2000s, and you will remember this car. Man, just it's gonna be really cool seeing this car. Even though I'm not a big fan of Xfinity cars, this one's definitely gonna be really nice to have, especially for any Hendrick cars. For any Hendrick fans out there, you are definitely gonna have to pre-order this car. Absolutely. And if we got any Bobby Allison's fans out there, guys, we do got a throwback for you guys, and it is I kind of gave it away, guys, but it's Matt DiBenedetto's number 32 KeenParts.com Ford Fusion. And if you guys already heard my contest clues, this is going to be throwing it back to Bobby Allison's 1988 Daytona 500 win car. So you gotta love that nice gold and white Miller genuine draft car. Something very iconic for any Bobby Allison fans out there who are watching this video. This is definitely a car I would recommend pre-ordering. Next up, we got Casey Kane's number 5 rated red car that he is debuting at Watkins Glen. A very random sponsor. I feel like this car might get canceled, but you may never know, guys. It is a Hendrick car, but lots of Casey Kane cars have been canceled for this year, so I feel like this one will probably make the list. I mean, but it's a new pre-order, so maybe there's some hope. But yeah, the rated red car, like I said, he will be driving this car at Watkins Glen and a couple more other races as well. I think in another 2 or 3 more races he'll be driving this car. So a brand new sponsor coming on board with him. I think that's a video network that Hendrick Motorsports is supplying. So really cool right there. And last one up is very interesting for the pre-orders, guys. We got let's just say we got Michael McDowell diecast that's going to be produced in his number 95 Fire Department of New York Foundation car that he drove at Pocono, and it will also be available in both scales as well. So like I said, he drove this car at the recent race at Pocono from last weekend, so really cool right there. It's gonna be really cool seeing a Michael McDowell car hopefully getting produced. We haven't had one in a couple years or so. I think the last one that we have was the SpongeBob car from 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's been since 2015 since we have a Michael McDowell car produced. So hoping this car will make the MOQ list, but you got to make sure you pre-order all these guys, and you can pre-order these at Line on Racing, Plan B sales, or any of your local diecast dealers that supports the pre-ordering system. It's the only way to get these cars in. Otherwise, they will head into the next topic of this video, which is the cancellations. And we only got 3 new cancellations for you guys, so not too much, but we're going to get things started. And first one up, it's a Casey Kane car. I mean, whoa, I'm like psychic or something. How did I knew that was gonna happen? But we got Casey Kane's number 5 Microsoft Chevrolet, the car that he unfortunately had a big crash at Sonoma with. That has been unfortunately canceled only in the 164 scale. So for 124 collectors out there, you're in good luck. This car looks like it will make the pre-order list for the 124s collectors out there. But yeah, 164 collectors, you're really in bad luck. I know the Microsoft Windows 10 car that Dale Jr. drove a couple years ago, that made MOQ, but this one unfortunately didn't. I thought it was going to make MOQ because this car was mostly famous for crashing at Sonoma, and Casey Kane had a pretty hard hit there, and a lot of people were concerned if he was alright, but looks like just knocked the wind out of him. But I'm very unfortunate this car got canceled. Next one up is another surprising one, guys, and if you notice my sarcasm, I was being sarcastic there for a second. It's a Denny Hamlin car, guys. We got his FedEx Office New Hampshire or Loudon win. That's been canceled only in the 124 Elite scale, guys. But however, though, by the time I upload this video, it might get canceled in the ARC version. I think the ARC version, which is a standard version, I think it's almost on the borderline of getting canceled. So you got to pre-order this car, guys, especially for any Denny Hamlin fans out there. Got to make sure this car is on pre-order, because right now the Elite version it's already canceled. So I kind of saw that coming, because you know Denny Hamlin diecasts have been selling too well throughout the past few years, besides the Daytona 500 win car. But you know, it was really a big surprise right there. And the last one up is Kyle Busch's number 18 M&M's red, white, and blue patriotic Toyota Camry, which he famously drove this car at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway in late May. Sorry, I was about to say like early this season towards May. So yeah, I mean, very weird seeing this car. It's only canceled in the 124 scale, so the 164 version I think made MOQ, so that's pretty cool right there. But 124 collectors out there not gonna be too happy. I think the Elite version is still available, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I think it was canceled. But very unfortunate to see this car getting canceled. I mean, we already had the red, white, and blue Skittles car got canceled you know, not too long ago. So I don't know, the M&M's patriotic cars have always, you know, been a hit or miss throughout the past couple years, but you know, this one was, you know, kind of a 50-50 surprise in my opinion. But it is Kyle Busch after all, but he is still a pretty popular driver in NASCAR. But that wraps up on the cancellations, folks. Alright everybody, we're going to our last topic of this video, and of course it's not going to be NASCAR Authentics related or Car Z related. If you guys already know by the topic of this video, it is going to be about NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and we're going to be talking about the last ride car. And a lot of people are wondering what was going to be, I mean, I even had this conversation with my friends on Skype recently, even on Instagram as well. I see a lot of people speculating, you know, what was going to be Dale Jr.'s last ride car. And a lot of people are wondering what's going to be. And let's just say the reveal finally came out for this week, guys. The reveal of his final paint scheme for that he will be driving at Homestead Miami Speedway was just recently announced on Wednesday, August 2nd, during a live broadcast on the QVC channel. It was a return of QVC's race segment, for the race fans only. So it was really cool. That really brought back some memories, if you guys do remember that, when you guys grew up as a child, especially in the, you know, the early 2000s. And speaking of early 2000s, guys, but a lot of people wonder what Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be tributing in his last ride. Well, let's just say it will actually be a tribute scheme, guys, and we're going to pull it up right here, and it's going to be tributing the iconic number 8 Budweiser red Chevrolet that, you know, that has the traditional black DEI stripes, which of course he drove from 1999 through 2007. If you do want more rougher history, I believe he actually drove this paint scheme from 1999 through 2002, and then around 2003 to 2007 they curved up the spikes a little bit and kind of trimmed it down right where the 8 was. But still, I mean, that's a nice little history lesson for any of you guys out there who are new to NASCAR. God bless you. I got a lot catching up. That's back when NASCAR was good. Anyways, we're not getting controversial here, because we're going to be talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s last ride car. What can I say about this? Man, I thought, I mean, on my last episode of NASCAR Diecast News, I thought Dale Jr.'s Johnson throwback car, the AC Delco car, I thought that was awesome. Dude, Exalta and Hendrick Motorsports, they freaking nailed this car. And I have to say, I mean, I'm not being biased here, this has to be my favorite Dale Jr. car, probably for this year. Actually, my favorite diecast in general for this year. I think this car is going to sell very well. It's also my favorite last ride car as well. I mean, Jeff Gordon's 2015 car that he drove at Homestead, you know, was pretty cool. I do like the silver. Tony Stewart's last year's, which was driven last year at Homestead, Tony Stewart's car, his last ride car, you know, it was okay. I mean, I did like the signatures, but you know, they kind of went with Jeff Gordon a little bit and went with the gray vibe. I'm glad they did something different, and especially since everyone knows Dale Jr. Jr. in the famous 8 Budweiser car before he went to Hendrick Motorsports. So just, man, that is so awesome. I know a lot of people were like, well, it ain't perfect if it does have the Budweiser sponsorship, but unfortunately Budweiser is with Stewart-Haas Racing, with the Busch sponsorship that they have. Busch and, you know, Anheuser-Busch, they share Budweiser and Busch beer, so unfortunately they can't have the rights to that. But this is such a great resemblance of this car, and man, I think this car is going to sell very well. I think Lionel Racing is going to do a really great job replicating this diecast. Heck, it's probably going to be everywhere, even probably at the retailers. I think this car will make it into NASCAR Authentics waves, because we got we got Jeff Gordon's final ride and Tony Stewart's final ride car in NASCAR Authentics Wave, so no shocker this car will make it in the NASCAR Authentics Wave. Speaking of Lionel Racing, guys, they did post a following the news about this recent reveal, this big reveal. Lionel Racing has been heavily promoting this because they know Dale Earnhardt Jr. diecasts are going to sell. I mean, it's just a good marketing strategy after all. I mean, who's been the best-selling, you know, diecast seller, diecast driver in general that's been, you know, getting Lionel Racing the big sales, you know, than the Dale Jr. So they're having fun with this diecast. But they also posted a rough prototype of the diecast of this car on the latest episode of The Fix, as I will show you guys the picture right here. The diecast isn't perfect. I mean, of course, I do have the outdated spoiler, but it is a prototype, so they will have the right spoilers on this. I mean, I think they made 6 of these prototypes. I mean, of course, one was given to Dale Jr., and then they produced the rest for QVC, and then they also showed it off at Lionel Racing in their HQ, and of course also on The Fix as well. So yeah, I think that's an interesting fact. They did produce 6, if I'm not mistaken, of this car. But yeah, Dale Jr. has this car as well. I think that's kind of funny. But and also, of course, it's not gonna have the Monster Energy logos, because you guys know that Mountain Dew and Monster Energy, you know, basically Mountain Dew and Pepsi, you know, Pepsi owns Mountain Dew and Monster Energy owns Coca-Cola, so, you know, you can see how that rivalry ain't going to play out too well. But it will be inaccurate, so it will not have the Monster Energy logos, because it is a Hendrick diecast, like all the Hendrick diecasts that we have for this year. I'm just telling you guys that for any of you guys who are just tuned in and watching this and now became a diecast news expert like myself. Congratulations, and hit that subscribe button if you guys want more. But what more can I say about this car, man? Just, oh my god. I'm trying my best not to be biased, but man, this car really is just the fine definition of my childhood right here. I remember seeing this car, you know, pulling up into victory lane many times, including the 2004 Daytona 500 race when he won that. Man, just, oh my god. I mean, who can just... I think this is something that every diecast collector should have when this car gets released. I mean, it probably won't get released till late next year from what I know, because that's what most of the last ride diecasts have been doing. They've been, you know... But oh no, we might get lucky and Lionel could rush this car out. Actually, I stand corrected. I'd rather have this car on the good EL mold than being rushed down the PTC mold. I mean, God, we don't want it to happen like it did with the Matt Kenseth Don's throwback car from last year. So just ignore my word for that for a second, but I really am hoping that this car is it probably is gonna make MOQ, and it will be probably one of the best selling diecasts that we will have forever, or probably for this year. But yeah, this is something I would definitely, I mean, I usually say a lot about pre-order diecast. This car, you really need to pre-order it, because it's gonna sell. I know Lionel's gonna make a bunch of these, but man, it's totally worth it. Everybody is gonna have this car, and it is definitely just going to be 100% worth it. But this has been the NASCAR Diecast News, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video series. I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed it. As always, please give this video a good comment, like. If you guys haven't already, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel for any more of the latest NASCAR Diecast news, top 10 NASCAR Diecast, top 10 worst NASCAR Diecast, and anything that's NASCAR Diecast out there. I will be uploading some more NASCAR Authentics reviews. I know you guys have been loving that. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, congratulations to all those winners from the Mega Diecast giveaway, and I appreciate each and every one of your guys' supports. And this has been Original Big Bry, and I'm Brian LaFleur Jr. I'll be signing off right now, and we will see you guys on the latest episode of NASCAR Diecast News.